Good morning. My name is Specialist Nichols. I'll be your presenter today for accountability and the leader. Task conditions and standards. Task, I'll brief you on accountability and the leader. Conditions, currently right now, we're inside an office, so there's not really anything hazardous right now. Standard, all training that will be conducted today will be in accordance with AR 350-1. Risk assessment. Avoid all tripping hazards, which consist of wires, cords, cables, office supplies, chairs, bags. Introduction. Here's a brief introduction about myself. My name is Joshua Nichols. I'm 22 from Huntsville, Alabama. I joined the Army back in 2016. I did 2 years in Germany on a tour. Coming back here to Fort Benning, I'm in 1st 507th U.S. Army Airborne School, where I'm cadre at. That's about it. Purpose of this brief is to enhance your leadership skills and your ability to be able to be accountable for yourself and others that you plan on leading. Here's a brief overview of what we'll be going over today. We'll be going over the classifications of leadership, defining accountability, and the 5 C's of accountability. A lot of people don't know what leadership is. Here are 5 points of what makes a good leader. A leader is always disciplined. A leader believes in their ideas. They make hard choices. They possess a clear vision, and they lead without forcing people. Here's Michael Hyatt. He's the CEO of Thomas Nelson, which is a publishing company. Here's what he had to say about accountability. Everyone wants to be a leader. However, few are prepared to accept the accountability that goes with it. But you can't have one without the other. They are 2 sides of the same coin. Here's what accountability means. Accountability is when an individual is required, accepted, and justified decisions and actions while being held responsible. Why is accountability so important? Accountability is important because leaders always demonstrate their accountability by having discipline, integrity, and executing any given task. And having accountability as a leader shows that an individual can lead by example. You will always see leaders execute these three given tasks. You will always see a leader having the best discipline. You will always see a leader with integrity, and you will never not see a leader not executing their task. You will always see these leaders. You will always see a leader doing these 3 things. And remember, the second bullet. We're in the Army. So we lead by example. We're that 1%. The 5 C's of accountability. The 5 C's of accountability, I came across this while doing some research about accountability. This isn't a requirement here for VLC or in the Army, but it helps outside of the military world. A lot of corporate, a lot of CEOs, COOs, and the business leaders go by the 5 C's. These 5 C's consist of common purpose, clear vision, communicate and align, collaborate and coach, consequences. So the first one, common purpose. This is the beginner stage where you're in a group and you're the leader, and your group or team is confused. This is when you talk to your team and tell them why they're there, what the task given, because a lot of them are going to be confused. And this is when you're just communicating and getting to know each other and telling them what the task is given and why they're there. The second one, clear vision. Clear vision is when you tell your team your expectations. It's basically saying you're giving your team what you want out of them. You're telling them what your standard is for what you want them to do for that task. Third one, communicate and align. Communicating and align is that middle stage where you're getting to know your team, they're communicating, you're making sure everybody is in agreement with each other, because some people may not like each other, some people may not like the task given, or something like that. You just gotta break them into the situation, break them into the task, and make sure they're all working together. The fourth one, collaborate and coach. This is the stage where you make adjustments if needed. Someone may not like their job, someone may not like their position. This is when you make adjustments to your team and to the whole entire project. You're also supervising at this stage because some people, whatever task that was given, may not know entirely what that task has them to do. So you may have to coach them through the process and make sure they understand what's going on. Supervise and elaborate. The last one, consequences. Everyone does not like consequences, but there could be good consequences, there could be bad consequences. An example of a good consequence is when you have a soldier who failed a mock board and you give them a counsel. You send that soldier back to the board and they wind up passing Soldier of the Month and going on to Soldier of the Year. That's an example of a good consequence. A negative consequence, of course, when a soldier has a DUI or gets into trouble, you have to give them negative counseling. But I don't see a negative counseling as a entirely bad consequence because you can always make a negative consequence into a good consequence. It just depends on the leader. This is a summary of what we covered for this briefing, but always make sure before becoming a leader must be able to be accountable for a team. It is important to remember that to be able to call yourself a leader, you must know the accountability. You must know what accountability is and why you must be accountable in order to lead. When confused, always remember, well for me, when I'm confused, I always remember the 5 C's. So hopefully the 5 C's will be able to help you throughout your process of knowing what a leader is and how to be accountable. Are there any questions? No? This concludes my briefing for today. And thank you. You're dismissed.